Since our director, Brandon Elliott, sent out a message to supporters just about a week ago, you, our Choral Arts Initiative family, have responded with over $3,000 in emergency fund gifts to ensure the continued survival of our organization and the continuation of our mission to illuminate emerging choral music and to inspire musical creativity. We are overwhelmed by this outpouring of generosity and would like to again say thank you to all of you. Every dollar you give to Choral Arts Initiative right now will support our artists and ensure that we will still be here, ready to bring you vital new choral music like Jeffrey Derus's From Wilderness, as soon as we can all be together again. So many of you have written notes of thanks and support as you have made your gifts at choralartsinitiative.org, and I wanted to share just a few of those with you. Hold on, Choral Arts Initiative, we're all in this together. Here's to continuing to make music, heal hearts, and soothe the spirit. Keep up the important work you are doing. You are a voice of hope and light in the community. Thank you for creating beauty in this world. Sorry I can't give more, but I will try. It's the least I could do for an organization that did so much for me. We look forward to attending a concert when it's possible. And as soon as I get my tax refund, I will send more your way. Choral Arts Initiative must live on. Thank you for your well wishes. Thank you for your generous gifts. And thank you for continuing to do your part to help us all come through this crisis healthy and whole. Take care, and please be safe. Hello, and welcome to another episode of Choral Arts Initiative Behind the Notes. I am Jordan Kuspa, the Executive and Development Associate for Choral Arts Initiative. And today we're going to be talking about a piece that we did on our November 2019 concert, which I wrote, called What Color is the Dawn? And I have with me our Artistic Director, Brandon Elliott, our Soprano Section Leader, Lorraine Joy Welling, our tenor section leader, Jeffrey Derus, and they're all here with me to have a conversation about what it was like to put this piece together and bring it to life. Right in with the very beginning, which is just talking a little bit about what the initial inspiration for this piece was. And it's fun for me because this is a project that I had had in mind since 2012. So it was a long time putting this together. Actually, I think it may have even been 2011, so nearly a decade before it came about. This piece is based on a text by a friend of mine who was a fabulous violinist and also just a beautiful writer named Klara Wojtkowska. And Klara and I first met at a music festival I'm a cellist, she's a violinist. So we met at strings camp in Ohio when we were in high school. And I didn't know she was a writer then, but we became friends. And a few years later, I was at Rice doing my undergraduate degree in music, and she came a year behind me and came to Rice, which was amazing. When I went to grad school, I went to Yale for composition, and she, instead of going straight to grad school, took a Watson Fellowship, which required her to leave the US and do basically a cultural studies project around the world. And she traveled to many, many different countries. And as she did, she sent out these email blasts, these travel diaries that were really hilarious, fascinating, funny, all sorts of different things, kind of stream of consciousness. And one day in my email, I had this beautiful email from Clara that she had sent to everybody called, she called the series Clara's Itchy Feet. And they were these travel diaries that she sent out. And the first line of this email was, "What color is the dawn?" And then just right there, sent to me in my inbox, was this huge text. And it was beautiful in poetry. I just literally hit reply to sender, "Clara, this is gorgeous. Can I set it to music?" And she was like, "Absolutely, let's do it." So that's where this piece started. But it came, there was a lot from that initial point almost 9 years ago to now. So I'm going to let Brandon maybe jump in and let's talk about how this all got started. Maybe you could start, the three of you actually could start by talking a little bit about the Premier Project Festival.
Yeah, so you joined our family essentially in the summer of 2019.
2018.
Or 2018, where we had our inaugural Premier Project Festival, which is an international event. Lorraine talked about it in the last episode a bit, where we are basically sending out a call to composers that just want the chance to join us in Southern California, have the experience of an entire commission process, where they literally have a one-stop shop. They come with us for a week. They have a variety of in-depth seminars with our faculty. They attend our rehearsals and they workshop their pieces with us to finalize it. We have recorded reading sessions, and then it culminates in a performance, a live performance open to the public. And it doesn't just stop there. Then we also set them up with a distribution deal with Music Spoke. So it's a really exciting event, and we had no idea that it would draw an international crowd. We thought it was mostly going to be local composers, and it's been quite successful. So then your Premier Project submission was a standalone, I believe it was like a 6-minute piece called "What Color is the Dawn?" And you were selected as one of the composers that got the commission in the premiere. And it wasn't until a couple months later where you had shared your idea of wanting to grow this into more of a cantata that ranges about a half a concert program, about 30 minutes. And so that's, from there, the rest is history.
My background is as an orchestral musician and a chamber musician, so most of the music I write is orchestral and chamber music. And when I saw the announcement of the Premier Project Festival, you know, I had only written one choral piece before. It was a setting of Edgar Allan Poe's A Dream Within a Dream. And I had a really wonderful experience with that piece. Because it was sung by the Yale Camerata, which was this fantastic group. I was just so lucky to have that experience, but it was the only choral experience I'd had. And I had this text basically in my back pocket for 7 years at that point. And when I saw the call for Premier Project Festival, I thought, this is the greatest thing ever. I really want to do it. So the audition process was send in a work of choral music that I had written. So I sent A Dream Within a Dream. And then also the other part of the
portfolio was send in a proposal for the work that you would like to have done at Premier Project Festival. So my proposal was all about What Color is the Dawn, and it was the first section of this text. Maybe now is actually a good time to hear this first movement of what ultimately at the time was just a standalone movement for unaccompanied chorus, but has become since the first movement of What Color is the Dawn as a whole. So here's the first movement.
So Jordan, I wanted to ask you how the initial performance of the piece and the initial first movement, which was what we performed and I had the opportunity to perform originally for Premier Project Festival, how did that metamorphose into the multi-movement work that we later performed?
Yeah, well, you know, the idea for the whole piece was there from the very beginning. Because when I got this text, it was almost fully formed in that initial email. And so when I made the proposal to Premiere Project, I was like, I can't propose doing a 30-minute piece for this. It's never going to go anywhere. So I cut just that first section out, knowing that that's what I wanted to do for a first movement of what would ultimately become a longer work. But I had always imagined that the piece would be for chorus and orchestra. I think that's because my background is as an orchestral player. So I kind of think orchestrally. And when this opportunity came up, I thought, well, this is too good an opportunity to not try for, but that means I have to shift what I was originally thinking, because obviously there's no orchestra here. So it became an opportunity to write this unaccompanied movement. And I mean, my other choral work is unaccompanied, but it's still a relatively unfamiliar medium for me as a composer. And it was such a glorious experience. I mean, Premier Project Festival, that few days in June 2018, I made friends that are still some of my very best friends in composition. I work with all of you now. It was a transformative few days. And the effect it had on the piece was transformative as well. Because I suddenly realized, after hearing all of this amazing music being made by so many composers, I don't need an orchestra to be able to bring this idea to life. I think I had always initially, as an orchestral player, thought to make my ideas work, I need that orchestra. But I heard what the possibilities with a choir, just singing voices, what some of those possibilities were. It opened up my whole thinking. And from that point forward, I started to think, how am I going to do this piece with just voices? And then I thought, well, maybe it would be good to have something for contrast, and decided to include percussion.